everyone, Valerie Beck here, West Essex YMCA. Today we're going to do Yoga 101. I've wanted to do this for so long. So guys, you know I'm a pain in the butt about alignment, well, in all poses, but in standing poses it's really important that the basic alignment is perfect so that you don't get hurt. So, two things. I want you to go get a tape measure, a ruler, something that measures, and some painter's tape. I just happen to have some right here. Okay, painter's tape. So we're going to measure out. I always say the same thing. Your feet, when you're in your warrior poses or your standing poses, they should be 3 feet from the front foot to the back foot. When you have a wide stance, you're actually more stable in your pose. So the idea is if I come over and push you over, you're so solid, the weight is equally distributed in your legs that you can't fall over. So 3 feet is this. Okay, put it down, guys. Your tape, you're gonna measure out 3 feet, and you're gonna put it on your mat. Okay, so the next time we meet, which is going to be real soon, I want to see everyone with 3 feet of tape on their mat, okay? Now, if you're tall and I'm not, make it 3.5 to 4 feet, because again, the wider you are, the better. Okay, 3 feet. So let's start with Warrior 2. Warrior 2 is a very common pose. So, come to the front of your mat. Inhale up, exhale down, okay? I'm going to start with my left foot back, okay? Right? 3 feet. Now, your front foot, the heel of your front foot is in line with the arch of the back foot. So just do that, okay? Let's start with your right foot. Your toes are wide, okay? Your weight is equally distributed on the 4 corners of your toe, of your foot, which is your big toe, your pinky toe, and your heel. Try not to collapse your arches. You want to keep your arches up nice and tall. Okay, moving up. Your knee. You know I love knees. Your kneecap is over your ankle, so you're making a square, or it's under a little bit. You don't want to be over like in a cardio class because that's too much for your knee. Also, your kneecap is out. So your right foot, your knee is over to the right. It's over your 2nd and 3rd toe. The way to do that, you take your hands to your thigh and you just roll your thigh out. That keeps the weight equally distributed on each side of your kneecap, okay? Your back leg. When you're in a standing pose, we always kind of think about the front leg, but your back leg is your anchor. So you want to make sure you have weight in that back leg. So you always hear me say this, bring the weight back into your back leg, okay? The angle of your foot, the back foot is 45 degrees, which is kind of hard to estimate. So you want your big toe pointing to the upper corner of the mat. Hips are facing the side. Arms out shoulder height. All right, guys, let's go up to the arms for a second. In Warrior 2 or in any pose, you don't want I know this is a little exaggerated, but you don't want your shoulders up here. You want your shoulders relaxed, your chest open. And even though this is a fierce pose, you don't want to be kind of rigid. You want to relax your fingers, relax your wrist, so you're one line. So in yoga we say it's effortless effort. It's where you make it look easy, but it's not. If you think of all these points of alignment. Good. Okay, relax. Ready? Okay, guys, now we're going to do Warrior 1. So from Warrior 2, okay, your hips are facing to the side. For Warrior 1 is a more difficult pose. Just because it comes first doesn't mean it's easier. So what you want to do now is you're going to swing your hips to the front of the room, okay? The thing about Warrior One is that you want your hips even. So your back leg, you have to kind of even out your hips. Oops. You want to rotate your left, if your right foot's in front, your left hip to the front and your right hip back. And the way you do that is you lift up. If your foot's like this for Warrior Two, you lift up your back heel, you spin your toes to the front, and then you bring your foot down, okay? So you've got the alignment, the foot, the knee, the hips, arms up, shoulders relaxed. Again, not up by your ears. You squeeze your shoulder blades together. Your palms face each other. So I'm just going to put together Warrior Two to Warrior One. Okay, that's a very common transition. So let's start at the top of the mat. Come out and up. As always, you're going to swan dive forward. Let's come up halfway just for the stretch. Exhale down. Okay, now you're going to step your right foot back. Find your heel arch alignment. And then we're going to come up to Warrior Two. So when you're in Warrior Two, before you transition, just take a second. You do your feet, your knee, your belly, your butt, your hips, your shoulders, your fingers. Just take a second. So this is Warrior Two. And then we're going to transition to Warrior One. Arms up. Okay, we're going to hop it up. Swan dive. Come up halfway, come on down, let's step it back. I'm sorry you're seeing my back. Just a different angle. Warrior Two. Fix those hips. Warrior One. Let's lift up. Roll it up. And that's it. Yoga 101, we're going to continue with Downward Dog. A very common pose, and it's very common to make postural errors in the pose. So my beautiful director Barbara is going to demonstrate. So Downward Dog.
How do you want me to get into that?
Just come on out, bring your feet back. Good, okay. I'm going to talk all the points of alignment from her hands to her feet. Barbara, if you need a rest, you can go down to child's pose. So hands, shoulder distance apart, fingers are nice and wide. Her middle finger is pointing to the front of the mat. Why do I say that? You see people who turn in or they turn out. You want to keep your wrists in line with your shoulders. Okay, Barbara's head is hanging out in between her elbows. Perfect. She's looking at her belly button. Good. Her neck is relaxed. Her belly is soft or a little bit of a pull in. Okay. Hips are facing the mat. They're pointed down. They're not turned out anyway. Barbara's feet are a little less than hip distance apart. Either way is fine. A little less or hip distance apart. Or if you need a little bit more room, your feet can be in line with your hands, okay? Your tailbone, which is the base of your spine, is up and back, right? The idea, the full extension of Downward Dog is to get your heels to the mat. Very difficult thing to do. No one really cares if you get there, okay? So don't worry about that. But beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, Barb, take a rest.